I have to be reminded that I am actually in nature right now. Good day to each and every one of you. This is Tiffany Rachann, and this is yet another edition of Imagireading today. Today, I am privileged to share with you the man behind the story, Mr. Noah Rattler, who's written Noah's Walk, an 1,800-mile journey raising the awareness of homelessness. The story was written by him and Nikisha Pickney, illustrated by my favorite illustrator, Thaddeus Lavallee. The same Thaddeus Lavallee that illustrated It's Watertime Mom. Today, I am joining Noah at this beautiful community garden space, if you will. It's a cooperative, an initiative that Noah is volunteering on, or with, or for, or however you want to, whatever. And we just get a chance to hang out with him and see him in action. Noah is always doing some incredible things. If I had to describe what kind of person Noah is, I'm at a loss for words. Noah is just incredible. I mean, I've expressed this to him over time. I think we've known each other all of the time I've been here. I met Noah shortly after I moved here, and once I moved here, hey Noah.
Howdy.
Met him shortly after I moved here, and just highly impressed by him. Just highly impressed. He's always been the same Noah, giving, contributing, making things better. So today we have an opportunity to talk to him live and exclusive on Imagireading today about his story, of course, Noah's Walk, and the personal story that inspired that story. So let's dig in. Let's go to the wheelbarrow. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. The sun is great today, but it's making it hard for me to see the screen. Live and direct, people. This is what it is. Alrighty. Well, Mr. Rattler, hello.
Howdy.
How are you?
I am well. How you doing today?
Very good. Thank you for being with us.
Of course.
Yeah. So we're just gonna hang out with you, but I just did a mini intro. I don't have all the words to describe how awesome you are. So, help me out a little bit. If you had to describe yourself in 3 words, what would those words be?
3 words.
I know that might be a
people out there.
I know, right? That might be a for later. Maybe we'll talk through it and it'll come back to you.
Let me marinate on
that. Yeah, of course. Sizzle. All right.
Yeah.
So tell us, where are we and what are we doing?
We are at Wheatley High School.
Okay. Yep. See that school
historic
over there?
/ the new Wheatley High School.
Okay.
The political hot button. The HIST firebomb, the community staple, all of that jazz.
Right.
And this street to our north is Market Street.
Market.
And someone I just recently met, her name is Ginger. Ginger is trying to get this garden going. So this is a garden at one point in time.
Okay.
These beds were over there. You can see that pile of mint right here in the middle.
Yeah.
Up. They used to be a garden bed.
Okay.
And that's a pond over there. There's a bunch of things bunch of pieces that it used to have.
Okay.
And Ginger's trying to get it up and going and make it a pillar of the community, one of the places, a stop through in the community.
Good.
Market Street Garden.
Market Street Garden. I like that.
Like to have a market here.
Right.
Be producing enough stuff to have the culinary arts program at the school. Have children working, have the young folk working on like kind of a farm to table model in the culinary world.
Awesome.
She wants to do some stuff with the young moms in the community through the garden and Community Artists Collective. So yeah, there's a bunch of stuff going on here. But right now, we're just kind of in the fledgling stage, just trying to get the garden going. She asked myself and, well, actually, my homeboy Andrew was talking with her, and he called me over to see if I would be interested in helping out. And that's how I met her, and this is my first community garden getting started.
Oh wow, is it?
Helping out with, yeah.
Okay.
So, and it's all a learning process. So
Yeah.
I told her I help where I can. Try and put in as much work as I can put in.
Okay.
And we'll try to turn this into something special that the people in 5th Ward can really enjoy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, something that can benefit the community and all stakeholders. Everybody should benefit from something like this.
Absolutely.
I'm a firm believer that all value comes from the soil.
It does.
And management of those resources is what creates wealth and power
and abundance
and hierarchies and all this other stuff. The powerful in our society have management over resources. They generally don't touch the ground. Anybody who has some dirt can create value.
Right.
And so that's like a secret desire of mine to really demonstrate the point that if you have dirt, you can create value. You don't even need dirt. This is one way to demonstrate the point, but creating value is where real power comes from, where freedom comes from.
Absolutely.
Being able to create value. Not just create it though, but you have to be able to manage it.
And sustain it.
When them kids out in New York, and Puerto Rican and black kids in New York created hip hop, they created a valuable thing, but other communities came in and took over the management of it. So the great value of it is someone else's. It doesn't necessarily have to be the case all the time.
At all.
You just got to know what you're doing, have an idea of the process, I guess. That when you create some value, somebody's going to try to manage it.
Right. Because you
position yourself to manage it.
Right.
Then you'll be the one managing the value.
Right.
So, and if you have value with some value, you can trade it for something else.
I was just about to say, isn't that what legacy is? Trade, barter, have the power of choice. I can do this now because I have this. Yeah, that's true empowerment. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It is.
Dr. Obadele said in his macro level theorem class at Prairie University.
Purview.
It was a political science class. Right to self-determination.
Yes.
Is one of the pillars of one of the ingrained rights of independent people. And so I took that, and I probably misquoted Dr. Obadele. Rest in peace. Forgive me for misquoting classes like 20 years ago. But I took that. That's like part of my personal ethos, right to self-determination.
Yes.
I am not independent of those around me, of that which is around me, but I have a say in how I interact with it. So I get to determine who I serve, what I serve, how I serve.
The choice.
Yeah.
Powerful.
How much of outside I give to, how much of inside I give to.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Do you guys see why I wanted to interview this man? I hope you do.
Yeah.
He's phenomenal. I mean, it is so vast. There's such a sturdy foundation here. We're talking about soil and just all the metaphor and the collective thinking, and oh my gosh, it just goes on and on and on. It just goes on and on and on. It does. And so tell us, Noah, because this is not your first, even though this may be your first community garden experience, this is not your first contribution to community by far. And I
mean, like, so I was a Boy Scout when I was a little kid.
Oh, Boy Scouts.
There are trees at my elementary school that I helped plant. Okay. Just like that was a community project. Can we walk and talk?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
So what I'm about to do with this wheelbarrow. We got this mulch over there. It's kind of like on the track. So I'm gonna bring it inside and get it off the trash.
Oh, gotcha.
So I might not get it all today, but I'm gonna get.
We gonna get it.
As much as I can.
Okay. Look at this wheelbarrow. Follow me.
One, I was a younger person.
Really? When? No, just kidding.
Back with my parents. I kind of take 2 lessons. Away from my childhood.
And I'm gonna ask you about your parents because I didn't know this about them until you shared it on Facebook one day. But they make up a lot of Noah. But go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, some people, you know, they have parents and it's like, oh, yeah, those are my parents, whatever. But
Yeah.
your parents make up a lot of Noah.
I'm half my mama, half my daddy, and all me.
That's that's a high five. I can't even do it on camera. Okay. Okay. So your parents instill.
They and I don't know, like I heard this said about schools where children they have like a written curriculum and then there's an unwritten curriculum. They learn things outside of what's intentionally being taught. They teach each other things, all this other stuff. And they were talking about bad behavior in schools and how kids from peer pressure and yada yada yada. I took that and kind of extrapolated out some meaning for myself. Sometimes you teach something because words are so, each word is like a symbol. It can be interpreted differently, so a string of words can mean one thing to one person and another thing to another
Perception,
person.
absolutely.
Yeah, and so I don't know what my parents were trying to teach us, but I know what I got from what they taught me.
Awesome.
And what I saw.
Awesome.
Now I know they were trying to teach us to think for ourselves, because they used to say that a lot.
Is that not critical though?
Yeah.
I don't know any parent. I mean, part of what Imagiread does is, you know, when I'm in the classroom with my students, I'm not here to teach you what to think. I'm here to teach you how to think. That's like the purest and rawest form of empowerment, you know?
It's the difference between giving a fish and teaching a fish.
Oh my God.
It's the exact same thing. It's the exact same thing.
It is. It is. So they
give you some thoughts.
Right.
Or I can teach you to find your own.
Exactly. Exactly.
My thoughts work for me. They may not work for you. So
Right. Right.
they didn't teach us dogma. They taught, I mean, that's what I got. Like,
Yeah.
I ain't getting no dogma from
Good.
this. The dogmatic lesson I got was to always think for myself. If it's me gonna be in jail, me gonna be sitting in the big house, in the high house or the low house or the big house or the outhouse. Like, my decision. Think for myself.
Yeah.
And they also, not necessarily verbally, but through their actions, they demonstrated how you're supposed to how to love people. They kind of showed me what love is in a really deep way, in a very unselfish way. And it's, yeah, my parents, they still together. They've been married for 44 years, something like that, 45 maybe.
Wow.
But that's not what I'm talking about.
Yeah. 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 Absolutely.
What I'm talking about is my mom. There was this earthquake in Ukraine somewhere. I was little, young, maybe in middle school. Or about to be in middle school. The earthquake killed 30,000 people.
Wow.
And my mom I was sitting there watching on like 60 Minutes or one of those evening news shows with my mom, and she was crying. I was like, you know something of that? Why are you crying, Mom? And she was just, and I got the point, either from what she said, or she said something, I can't remember the exact words. But she gave me the impression that she was sad because that many people had died.
Right.
And were suffering through that tragedy. And that meant something to me. That changed. Like, I got that. I got a deep lesson about
compassion is
viable. Even though those people aren't directly our neighbors.
Right.
It's a deeper, because you're human.
Right.
There is a level of love that I have for you, and compassion and desire for your well-being that I have for you, though I will not ever meet you and we will never cross paths.
Right.
That sticks out.
Mm-hmm.
In '94, this is kind of significant in a post-Harvey discussion.
Absolutely.
1994, that's the last time my neighborhood was flooded over. Sims Bayou went over. There was no storm, it just rained. I believe, no tropical storm or nothing. Sims Bayou went over his bank. A bunch of people in my neighborhood were flooded out. Now I remember my parents having a hushed discussion about something. They said they were gonna be back. They went down to the shelter and came back with a family. It was '94, I was in 10th grade. It was a family, a schoolmate of mine who was in the 12th grade was there. Her mother, her child, it was like 3 people.
Okay.
We didn't know these people and they didn't know us.
Right.
Like I kind of noticed and remembered her from school, but we weren't friends or anything. My parents went and got them people and let them stay with us. I don't know how long they stayed. Could have been a couple days, could have been a couple weeks, but that's what they did. They took in a friend of my brother's because his parents were having problems, and he lived with us for some time. I left. I went to Prairie, and I think he was still living there.
Gotcha.
So he may have been there for a year or so. There's always somebody living with us, mostly relatives. When we got older, people who weren't relatives, but they needed it. My parents gave it to them. My dad even recently, this baby bird was stranded. And he went through a lot of trouble to try and save that baby bird. And like they exemplify real unselfish love for all of the world. And that's just, I'm always learning from it.
Right.
I'm still learning from it. That thing with the bird was recent. Yeah. So I learned that from them.
Yeah.
So in that, we, all through school, I participated in community service events when I was younger, in elementary school, not much in middle school because it went on the other side of town. But in high school, I wound up joining a bunch of clubs, leading some of them. They were all service events, doing a bunch of stuff, peer counseling, community cleanups, teaching kids step routines, a whole bunch of stuff. Same thing when I went to Prairie View. Got deeper into it. It's like a muscle, a skill. It's almost like ballet. You start learning ballet when you're young. You get real. If you do it for 20 to 30 years, you're really good by the time you were 20, 30 years old.
Right.
30, 40 years old. So that's my craft in a way. It's kind of like a skill I've been developing, and it's been something that's been going on in my life. So when I got out on my own, one of the things I did, I was volunteering with Search Home Services. For many reasons, I decided to walk across the country, and while I did that, I raised awareness for homelessness, and that started me on another path. After that was over with, because I was also trying to raise money. We didn't raise money when I was walking. I wound up doing the Houston Sleep Out for like 9 years.
9?
The first 2 years, it raised $110,000 for Surge. And after that, it maybe, 3,000 people probably participated over those 9 years. And that like really touched and changed, motivated, and inspired, and opened minds and hearts for a bunch of those people. And then co-author, schoolmate of mine from high school, Keisha Pickney, and I wrote a book called Noah's Walk.
Yes. The story.
That's another phase of it, getting out there and talking to children, not just about homelessness. It's a book about the walk, but the idea is to get children to start thinking about how they can become more active partners in their communities, and how they can invest in their community's future so that they would benefit going forward, so that the other people would benefit going forward. So that's like my stuff, but I'm always like a part of somebody else's thing if I can be of help. This garden, right now is what I'm doing. Project Row Houses, Our House Project with PK McCary when she was around, when she still had an installment over there. I was helping out wherever I could. Women healing and empowering women. And I volunteered a lot. I'm doing much less these days, but I've done a bunch.
Yeah.
And so I wrote a resume of all of my jobs and all of the organizations that I volunteered and served in, and both of them were like 2-3 pages.
I was about to say, I'm sure it was
so
just.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
This is what I do.
And selfless. I've never gotten the impression from you that it's been about doing something for the sake of doing it. I've always gotten the impression that it's doing it because it needs to be done. It needs to be done. And who better to do it than somebody who is personally invested in the cause of cause.
That's cool. Yeah. I developed this. I don't know what it is. Basically, if you notice a problem and you figure and you have an idea and you have the opportunity to do something about it, no one else notices it. If you notice it, you got a responsibility to do something.
Yeah,
about
absolutely.
it. That's what it means to live with people, to live in a group. We all in the room, and a fire break out and kill all of us. It could be the person, the fault of it could be electrical fire, something like that. It can be the fault of the electrician or whatever, but whoever noticed that there was a fire and didn't say anything or try and stop it, in my mind, it's their fault. That everybody died. So if I'm the person who noticed it, I have to bring it to everybody's attention or try and stop it or both or something. I gotta do something.
You gotta do something. I mean, it's a whole nother meaning to in the hot seat. It's your fault. You saw it on fire. Absolutely. I totally get that though. Real talk. We're all accountable and all responsible. But I happen to believe, Noah, honestly, and I talk about this regularly, that the word responsibility is the ability to respond. I know it's most often than not, most of us who really want to help are overwhelmed by what to do and how to do it. And so being predisposed, like you just talked about your family, being able to do this naturally, to be invested, to want to see the outcomes help and empower, I think is really, really important for people to ponder before just jumping in to do something. A lot of our, and when I say our, it's really sketchy, but a lot of our endeavors, I think a lot of it doesn't sustain because we're not really, really deeply committed to it. It's so funny that it's what I call mioho timely and ironic that you're wearing that shirt. That's where we met, to play or not to play. Time to play. It is. It's crazy. It's mioho. That's what it is. But I'm sure you didn't even think about that this morning.
Yeah.
I'm sure you didn't. I
did.
But I think it's just so commendable, and this is why I've always had the utmost respect for you, because it's nothing that you're, having to conjure up in you like, I think I'm going to do this. You just do it, And part of what Imagiread is empowering through literacy and language to just do it, to just live, to just be. And to eventually become one with the experiences that we have, and showing children that through the stories that we talk about and entertain. The whole background piece of this is not just something, Noah woke up and said, I'm gonna walk 1,800 miles today. This needs to be a lot more visible than it is. Not to take away from anything that other organizations may be doing, but until you actually experience it, you really can't put yourself in the position to understand why homelessness is a problem. Right now, I live in 3rd Ward, not too far from here, and it's sad to see the community board where people are just talking about homeless, like the homeless, like they're not people. It's like, I'm so confused right now because you've never had that experience. You don't know what it's like to be without a home. You have no idea. And maybe you've struggled in some kind of way, but again, you can't relate, you know?
Couple things. On the overwhelming piece, that's what I talk. The pillars of my talk with the children. Friendship, scholarship, citizenship, and perspective. The last one, perspective.
Huge.
Big things are made of small things. You will not find a big thing that's not made of small things.
Oh my gosh.
And so what I tell them is that we know the problems of the world are huge. I couldn't end homelessness, but I could take a little piece. I found a little piece of it that I could take advantage, that I could do something about. And I did something about it. Then I found another little piece that I can do something about, and I did something about that.
Right.
And I found another little piece that I can do something about, and I did something about that. And so if I die today, tomorrow, and 100 years, and there's still homeless people, I know I did some pieces of it. I'm one person. I can't end it.
Right.
When I was young, I was stupid, and I thought I could. Not just homelessness, but I was gonna save the world.
Man, we're not gonna talk about that.
But that's the spirit of ignorance. And you.
Ignorance in a very good way. Absolutely. It can be blissful. It really can.
It can.
Mm-hmm.
It can cause
a whole lot of
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard.
Mm-hmm.
But so yeah, that's one thing. Another thing is like everything I do, I think out beforehand. So 3 things. I just wrote this in the bio. It's my opening sentence of a short bio. Okay. Noah Rattler, man of thoughts, letters, and action.
Oh wow.
Thoughts, letters, and action. Those are 3 things. I was like, when I decided to walk, and actually, I've always been like a mental person, doing things like life in my head.
Right.
And my thoughts are beautiful and grandiose and mostly wrong.
Imagination?
Sophisticated and all wrong. Like a thought about how this group of people, what they need, can be, and your solution in your head is beautiful.
Yeah.
It's always beautiful
Yeah.
in your head. It may have nothing to do with their reality if you don't understand it.
Right.
So you have to get in there and try and understand it. Which then kind of gets back to something that's near and dear to both of us. You don't have to be homeless in order to know what homelessness is, have a decent idea of it.
Exactly.
You just have to learn the right way, and that's what I think stories are important. Because
incredibly,
if we are nothing, our unique gift as humans is to be able to think abstractly and communicate abstract ideas to each other. And
I mean, that's huge.
That's all stories.
Yeah.
All stories.
Yeah.
All information is a story.
Yep.
Who I am is the story I tell myself when I wake up in the morning before I go to sleep.
Right.
It's a story that I'm a part of a story. When I got here,
didn't I say that?
Somebody handed me a script.
Yep.
But I also got a pencil and an eraser. So I can play the role that I was given, or I can write my own stories in this grander play that we're a part of.
Yes.
And so stories are so fundamental to who we are, and they can convey information and ideas and concepts and emotions and everything. A well-crafted story can get information across to people and get understanding across to people for those who sit to listen to it.
Right.
Or watch it.
And open to it, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. Because they could watch it and listen to it but not be open.
Right.
You know, yeah, that's a whole nother conversation.
That's where I am now. That's why I'm doing that 90 for 90 thing, just practicing, telling stories so I can get better at it. I just need to get better at it.
Right.
And I think one of my favorite things in all of popular culture was listening to Kobe when he retired.
See, I didn't even know he retired. I am so not in.
Kobe Bryant retired a couple years ago.
Okay.
And Kobe went to play. I think he went into the league straight out of high school.
He did. I heard an interview with him that was talking about, what it was like for him because he was playing with all these grown men. Yeah.
But Kobe Bryant is a monster.
I need to.
He did the interview in like English, Italian. Like he did the interview in English, Spanish, and Italian.
What?
Yeah, I think he speaks all three of those languages at least.
This is. I gotta get past the sports bias. I have this thing with.
Sports is like one of them. Sports is as important to the human experience as storytelling.
I get it, but I just part of me be like, they just dribbling the ball up and down the court.
Oh, it's so much deeper. Like, I heard this interview, this British dude talking about soccer. And it's more apparent when you talk about soccer.
No, it is. I see. I'm a proponent for soccer.
Soccer players.
Right.
He said basically sports is cultural, it's tribal warfare. It's as important to those who are into it as back when folk were living in smaller tribes, independent tribes, and they would go compete against each other for life and death. That's like sport replaces that inert thing, just like football is rites of passage.
Right.
For young men.
Right.
I think cheerleading used to be that dance and stuff, but sports is becoming that for women too.
Right.
Like that bonding with your peer group outside of the family, going to different levels.
And becoming.
The ultimate,
right?
And basically becoming an adult. That's what we don't have that officially here. Now you have it for some groups. Bat mitzvahs, sweet 16s, and those call them debutante balls and all that jazz.
Yeah.
But everybody isn't privy to that. Everybody is sport is something that's kind of open to everybody, and it gives that. But that's beside the point. But something else Kobe said in his interview is he was looking forward to telling stories, telling interesting stories.
Yeah.
So my hope is that he's gonna use all that fortune he got and start go to Hollywood.
Okay, so you probably need to help him with that, Noah. Don't you think?
I don't know. Kobe may not need none of my help. LeBron's doing it.
He is.
The show that he had. He's telling some amazing stuff. He's doing really. 50 Cent is doing it.
He is.
On a major level. Like
for real.
Young folk, when they ain't young, but I guess to my mama they probably young. But people in my age group are actually doing this.
Yeah.
Back a generation ago, Louis Gossett Jr. was trying to get stories told.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
And he's still trying to get stories told.
Right.
He didn't have the infrastructure behind him. But because of the talent, the creativity, and the talent of people like 50 Cent, people like LeBron James, people like Jay-Z, Beyonce. There's so much wealth being created by other people. They, as creators, have to get a big chunk of that.
Yeah.
And they are starting to do what they want to do. They're starting to tell our story.
I know, right?
We starting to tell our story. I think Michael Jackson was at the forefront of that.
He was, man. MJJ, rest in peace. His birthday just passed. I'm like, he been gone that long?
Yeah.
Jeez. Look at the kids coming out.
Every time.
Yeah. You think about it. Yeah. Humanitarian. I mean, just on so many levels.
Yeah, they want to make Mike out just to be an entertainer, a sad clown.
Way more than that.
More than that.
Way more than that. And so just, this is so wonderful right now. Like, I am so glad. I'm like, Noah, I got to see you. I got to interview you. Because it's all of what I believed it would be. Just a really intentional conversation about the power of stories. And I mean, I can't say it enough.
And them kids coming out. This is my last real bear. We're going to talk about the book.
Okay. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, they out there. They out there. This is, and leading right in. See how natural that was? We're going to talk about the book. This is why Imagiread is what it is. Because I I personally, as an author, long to support authors who have tremendous stories to tell, to share. Because these are the individuals that our children, I won't say can most relate to, but stand to learn a great deal from. The example, There's a lot of stories out there that's just, it's a story and it's a book and it's, a bestseller. La-di-da. But when you actually see the work, you get a sense.
All right.
How you doing? You get a sense of why it's so important to continue the legacy, why it's so important to do it. Because there's so many children and adults, truthfully, without the power of that voice. They don't know that their story is important. So this was, I didn't even have to do any of that. I didn't have to tell Noah, this is what we're going to talk about. And this is who Noah is. And this is why it's so awesome. So awesome. So let's go on over and talk about the story. Because I just, yeah. It's I can't, after I had the accident a couple years ago, my hip is affected, and so it at times travels down my leg, and I used to love to walk, but I can't walk like more than 10 minutes now, let alone 1 mile, 8 miles, 10 miles, 100 miles, darn sure not no 1,800 miles. Seriously. So just help me understand. Let's go to, I think I want to do this. And I think I want to go this far. Take me back there. What was that like?
Okay. I used to tell people, because I was like chronically late, the last thing I did on time, did early, was being born. I was born 2 weeks early, and after that I was late for everything else.
I'll tell you off camera why that's funny, but go ahead.
And my mom would tell the story about a friend of mine named Jenna. Like, I didn't walk when it was time for all the other kids to walk. I could stand up, I could take a step and stuff. I just wasn't interested. I would crawl. And they were kind of worried about it, but I just wasn't interested. They couldn't convince me that I needed to walk.
That it was important.
Yeah. So I kept crawling. Jenna, who was born 2 days before me on Valentine's Day, came by the house. They tried to brought Jenna by, and Jenna was walking. And it was a normal visit. They left, and they said, my mama said, like, you were like, your type A personality. You were like, I ain't gonna let no girl beat me. 2 days later, I was walking.
Oh, no.
And so I never liked walking. I went to school a couple miles away from my house at Sterling High School. I enjoyed walking to Caldwell because I was like, I'm a big boy, I'm walking to school. But it wasn't far, just like literally a block away from me.
Gotcha.
Sterling was like a mile or two away from me, and I ain't like walking there. I used to try and get convinced my folks would give us a ride, and once I knew they weren't gonna do it, I would walk or catch the bus, but mostly walk. But I didn't like it. I got to Prairie View in '96, fall of '96, and yeah, that was different. Prairie View's a big campus. It's like the second largest campus in the state of Texas.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's huge. It's a farm and all this other stuff. You can drive to the campus and drive around and see the buildings, and that's one thing, but it's much larger than that.
Gotcha.
But just even walking from one class to another was further than I would have to walk normally. And like after the first weekend of orientation, I'm like, dang, why am I sore? All this walking. And if you don't eat by a certain time, if you got some change, there's a store right off campus back then called PV Grocery. You walk to the store, get some. It was a corner store, but they had like a diner in there. So that was my first experience with kind of walking. And every year I moved further and further off campus. And so by the time I was there for like 100 years, around 04, 05, I was living in Hempstead and going to school at Prairie View. And I would walk 5, 10 miles or 12 miles round trip.
Wow.
back and forth to class 3-4 days a week.
Wow.
And I loved it by that time. I just been doing it so long and walking through. It's like Prairie View is slight hill country, and it's like super green and lush. It's beautiful.
So it was perfect.
It's beautiful, perfect. And it's like I learned the meditative quality of walking, and a bunch of other. We had 2 hours, 2-3 hours. I could really talk and get into that, but I started to really enjoy walking, and so that was 04 or 05. Rewind back to 2001, September 11, 2001. I was working at Ada, Oklahoma, and that night I was working at Host M Cement in my place where I live, maybe 3 miles away from the job. So I walked back and forth. It may have been 5 miles. It wasn't nothing to me then. It was probably 3 miles. Walked back and forth. And I was walking home that night after work. I went to the gym, to the Chinese restaurant where these Chinese people adopted me. And I was walking home, and I was looking up, and there were no planes in the sky. And Ada isn't like a super important place. It's a real small town. It's not even a suburb or anywhere else. It's got a college there. That's a college, it's a little college.
Gotcha.
College town.
Gotcha.
But you could still see planes in the sky. There's never been a time where you living in a city where you wouldn't really see any plane. And I looked up and there were no planes in the sky because they landed all the planes. There was no flights in the United States for 2-3 days. I was like, dang. What if this was something else and there were never any more planes flying? What if it was like some EMP, something crazy happened, somebody blew up a nuclear bomb above the United States and it fried all the electric circuits in the country. And it took months to get the stuff back up. Could I get back home from here? I'm like an 8-hour drive away from home.
Right.
Could I actually get home from here? It's not like I'm in England. I can't swim across the ocean, but I could, technically, it's just a straight shot from Ada, Oklahoma to Houston. If anybody got the nerve to try and walk it, can I do that? And that's when the question started.
Right.
So September 11th, like kind of at the root of my exploration of this idea. Get back to Prairie View, walking more and more, loving walking. Decided I'm gonna try to walk. What would it be like to walk I-10? Looked it up. I was at work one day, looked up the job, looked up the distance. Like 2,400 something miles from I-10 from the East Coast to the West Coast.
Wow.
Something like that. I can't remember, maybe further. I was like, I could do that if I broke it down to 120 days, I think. If I broke it down to 20 miles, if I can walk 20 miles a day. That's interesting. 20 miles a day. That wouldn't be that long a walk. Anyway, went back to my life. 2005, I was in Atlantic City, New Jersey, working with the FAA, doing an internship there. And I decided to walk to the mall a few times over because I love walking.
Right.
Job was 5 miles away from the apartment. I ran and walked all the time. I rode the train to the mall once. I was like, that's not that far. I'm gonna walk next weekend. Next weekend came, I walked there, and I walked back. And that was Saturday. Sunday I woke up and I couldn't move. Ooh. I was so sore. I was like, why am I so sore? It couldn't have been that far of a walk. I map quested it, and it was like 24 miles. I was like, hold up, 24 miles?
Right.
I had to call my dad. I walked 24 miles. 24 miles. I-10 is 2,400 miles.
Right. Ding.
I bet if I can make this something, if I can get to where I can walk 24 miles and not get sore from it, I can do it.
Right.
So I'm going to try it again next weekend.
Okay. Next
weekend, I did it. Walked 24 miles, woke up Sunday, and I was sore, but I wasn't as sore. Like, I'm on to something here.
Right.
I think I can do it. Fast forward, 2006, I get my last degree from Prairie View, and I'm like, I've been in school for 28 years, for 23 years of my life. I'm 28. 2006, I was 28. I've been in school for all of my life. I wanted to do something really big to celebrate it, to mark the occasion. Like, what rites of passage do people go through when they finish school, when they go through between that stage of adolescence and adulthood? Rich kids on TV go to Europe and backpack across Europe. I come to find out that a little bit later, but this is still in there, a lot of Israeli kids go to India and like just
rock out,
chill and bum out in India.
Mm-hmm.
I think after they get out the service or something like that, but before they go in, one or two. Like, I don't have any tradition like that. There's not much of a tradition like that in the black community in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Guess I can go to Africa. Africa's bigger than Europe, and there are lions and hippos. And like, to walk a straight line across Africa, you don't have to go across something crazy.
Yeah.
That I am not prepared to deal with.
Yeah.
But the United States, it's bigger than Europe. There are more languages spoken here. There's more diversity in every category. Natural beauty, everything. It's as much here as it is in Europe. I can do it here.
Yeah.
Rewind back to the 2,456 mile thing across I-10. Start looking like, okay, so this is kind of like a pilgrimage. Start doing research on pilgrimage.
Mm-hmm.
And then finding different pilgrimage routes. Globetrotter was out. And they that big pilgrimage in Spain is like super popular now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, dang, okay. And you start looking into this idea. I came across the Peace Pilgrim, who was like in the 60s and 70s, an older white woman walking around the country. She walked 10,000 miles. I don't know, she walked for years. She wouldn't eat unless somebody fed her. She would sleep inside unless somebody gave her a place to sleep. She'd sleep on the side of the road, trying to walk for peace. And in an interview, she said you can be a pilgrim to a place or for a thing.
Wow.
To a place or for a thing.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of pilgrimages are religious things.
Right.
And they go to a place, and there's like some relic at the end.
Right.
So like in Canterbury tale, like there may be a thumb of some saint, some guy who was sainted at the end of in the cathedral.
Right.
Walking to.
Right.
Or I think in the Hajj, the pilgrimage, they walk around that Dome of the Rock. They walk around this stone that's where Muhammad ascended into heaven to go bargain with Allah about whatever you're bargaining with.
Yeah.
And so like there's a religious significance, but if I have a religion, it's like nature. And so I would need a natural cathedral. There's no better natural cathedral than the Grand Canyon. It's probably not a better place I could go.
Yeah.
That I have access to. I said, okay, Google. How do you walk through the Grand Canyon? Dallas, Amarillo, Albuquerque, Flagstaff, Grand Canyon. 1,300 miles. 1,300 miles, 20 miles a day. 75 days. Just finished school. Average time it takes an engineer to get a job from graduation to the first day at work was 6 months. 75 days, it's 2 months. 15 days, it's 2.5 months. Send out resumes. I can be interviewing on the phone. If I need to fly somewhere to an in-person interview, because they did that sometimes, I can just stop in the nearest town, fly there, get back. I carry a suit with me. This is how I'm thinking. I can be gone. I can leave, be at the Grand Canyon, and back. But before I really even start hearing back from people trying to interview. So this is like summer 2006, and so this is what I'm thinking about. I'm also volunteering at Search, like real heavy. I've been doing it for like a year or two by this time. I'm super heavy at Search, and I get to this point.
Oh my God! I know Tiffany.
This is so Mioho.
This is so crazy. Did you get my message?
Yes, I did. I was just talking about you yesterday. This is so crazy.
Yes, you know Tiffany.
That means it's gonna happen. Stanley's alive. I'm telling you.
Okay. This is really like, now Mioho didn't get y'all. Yeah, it's so Mioho. I'm grateful, but I'm so in tune to the story, so I'm gonna let Noah finish. Okay. Oh, thank you.
Good, so I ain't gotta introduce y'all.
Right, because I said, who is Gina?
You have a children.
He does. You don't know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Noah is so modest. Like, this is Gina, ladies and gentlemen. I can't say where I met Gina because
Ginger.
I'm sorry, Ginger.
It's okay.
Why am I?
Bridget, Gina, I told you. Oh.
That is so horrible, though.
It's okay.
Seriously. I can't say where I met her because it's confidential. But it's very confidential.
Okay, got it.
But I've met her before, and she called me. You on camera?
I'm not camera ready.
You've been on camera now. It's too late.
I got them looking like a jelly bean. I got one thing, and the neck ain't. Give me about 6 weeks. I'm working on it.
She'd slide into the shot, sit down, get comfortable, and then say, "I'm not ready to be on camera."
I didn't realize it. So wait.
This is horrible. This is horrible. She doesn't. It is crazy. So Noah was just finishing up his story, and then we're all gonna have a powwow. This is
Okay, I'm sorry. You finish the story.
On the YouTube channel. It can't be. It has to be a little bit before 11.
11 after 11:13.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So
we got a few more minutes.
Okay. There was I was thinking about that and planning out the walk, like breaking this. I got a little almanac, a little pocket almanac, and I'm looking from Houston to Dallas, 20 miles, just 20 miles. I spent days marking that off all the way to the Grand Canyon.
Wow.
20 miles along that route. Then I was looking for the nearest cities. Okay, so this one would be the stop at day 1, stop at day 2. And I was doing all this in the back of the van while I was volunteering at Search. When I was at Search, we was doing mobile outreach. Get in the van at like 4 o'clock, load up a bunch of lunches and mosquito spray and water, whatever people donated. We go take it out to different homeless communities. So the counselors who rode with us could just check on the people that they work with and recruit people to try and come in and get service.
Gotcha.
So I would just support. Another place I volunteer. I just support. And so some of the guys, a lot of the people who I was with regularly had been homeless. They had all been homeless before. It's mostly Dunn and Tim. And so they've been homeless before. And they eventually asked me, like, "No, what are you doing? What's that book?" I was like, "Almanac, I'm thinking about walking to the Grand Canyon." I said, "Oh, yeah. I walked across and hitchhiked. And one dude, Tim, had hitchhiked to Hawaii.
Wow.
Why he do that? That was a long story, but he did, and he can hitchhike back. Dunn had walked long stretches of the country, and they were just telling me how they did stuff when they were walking, and this, that, and the other. And Tim, it was actually Tim's idea, I think. Tim was like, "Yeah, this guy in Arizona was walking somewhere, and he got some coverage and some sponsors. You should try that." I said, "Oh, I might try that. I don't know. I might just try to keep this to myself." And then it's like, well, and the idea somehow about raising the money for a charity, like, this is a crazy thing. You can get some attention.
Absolutely.
If I can get some attention, and I may get some sponsors, and if I get some sponsors, I can give that money to a charity.
Right.
What charity would I give it to?
Right.
While I'm volunteering with Search like 2-3 days a week. Ding ding. I give it to Search. So I said I was trying to raise $1 million for Search.
Okay.
That was the idea in my head.
Okay.
Then I wouldn't approach the CEO of Search, well, somebody, and then we wouldn't talk with the CEO, Mr. Lawrence Payne, and he was CEO at that time, Larry Payne, for those who may know him. But it's Lawrence with a U, not a W.
Okay.
Anyway,
gotcha.
So he was like excited about it. Everybody was kind of like, that's kind of out of our lane.
Right.
So they hesitantly said yes. And we kind of put it together. And so as it developed, we couldn't find any big sponsors. They wanted to find somebody to put up $250,000. But one thing I learned about the nonprofit world is just you get donors, especially if you get regular donors, it's hard to go back to them for more money.
Yeah.
And they already had donors from the big boys and people who could put up $250,000. They already had them people signing up and donating. So there was really nobody else to go looking for. So that level of money didn't come in. But we found a sponsor in Z-Coil. Basically, so once the big money didn't come in, it was going to be a much smaller scale thing.
Okay.
And it wound up being, they found Z-Coil as a sponsor and a shoe company that makes shoes with big springs on.
Yes, on the back.
Yeah, so they donated a few pair of shoes. They got Jerome Gray to be like the media sponsor because he was like on the board, and he helped with the media. And me and my folk, we got the rest of the stuff. And so raising $1 million looked like it was not going to be the thing. Then it shifted to raising awareness. Because it was always going to be a awareness thing, but the focus on raising money.
Right.
But the messaging changed and ended up being just an awareness thing because we knew we were going to raise the money. But I was still going to walk. And they were like, well, no, maybe if we give it another year. No, I ain't waiting another year for this. We got to make the best of it. So I may have been able to do a better job for a search as far as raising money goes, had I waited another year. But next year ain't really. Next year isn't real.
Yeah, absolutely.
On a certain level.
Absolutely.
And so I knew, like, if I wait a year, that mean, I wasn't gonna do it because I'd have been working.
Right.
And I wouldn't be able to take off to do this as a new engineer at some company. I wouldn't be able to take 4 months off and then come back. It just was not practical. So yeah, it wound up being this awareness thing. And so there's this struggle in there, like 2 paths that I've been on in life. One of them is this person of love, and then there's this person of intellect. So the intellect in our society, especially, like I had set myself up to do the like for the golden sidewalk, or at least the silver or bronze sidewalk. Get a good job. We got an education, mechanical engineering and physics at Prairie View. It was my pretty much right to go, like the next step for somebody on my path was to go and get the job. And work in engineering, do the whole American dream thing.
Yeah.
Get a house, 2 cars, 2.5 children, a wife, a dog, picket fence, 2 chickens in a pot every Sunday. Yeah, whatever the American dream is.
I know, right?
Days.
It's so expensive.
Yeah. And so I was on track. I could have done that. But there's also this thing that I knew was floating out in front of me, and it was kind of real, but it wasn't solid yet at this point in time.
Yeah.
When there's a moment I'm leading up to, and I've also been on that path my whole life. From volunteering and planting trees outside of school, watching my parents take care of people who let people come move into the house with us, and been in all these organizations in high school and college, and serving the community and trying to make the world a better place. There was another path I was on, and those 2 paths were in the same road up until this point, and they were going to diverge.
Right.
And there's a fork, and I wound up asking myself, can I do both? How can I do both?
Yeah.
And so the idea was, if a lot of people were trying to tell me, like, Noah, what you should do is go work and do this later. I'm like, well, I can see that possibly happen. But then, right now, I don't have anything.
Right.
If I work, the more I work, the more money I'm gonna make, the more stuff I'm gonna accumulate, and the more bound I'll
Comfortable.
be to that
Right,
stuff.
absolutely.
The more responsible I'll be towards that stuff.
Right. To attain it and to sustain
maintain
it. Right.
Ain't no telling if I have a bunch of kids. Like, I can't just walk away
And just,
and
yeah.
go do this when we got 3 kids in school.
Yeah.
And it depending on income, whatever it was, got a wife, however that worked out. I saw down that path, and it would be much more difficult. It'd be at least 20, 30 years before I can do it.
Right.
If I did it the way I got a job, met somebody, got married, had some kids, and then been dealing with the kids. When the kids are out the house, then there's a designated time in our society when you're supposed to do this type of thing.
Yeah.
It's after your kids leave home.
Right.
And you're in you're in one career, probably finna start another one. Retirement, pseudo in the 60s, 50s, 60s, that type of thing.
Yeah.
That would have been cool. But I know I can get hit by a car between now and then.
For real.
So that's one thing. Another thing, that's one path. The other path was doing the walk. I could have left and walked. And anything could have happened. I may not have wound up